We welcome Michelle Peterson, Director, Division of Volunteer Efforts, otherwise known as DOVE, D-O-V-E, at Seton Hall University. Good to see you, Michelle.
Thanks for having me.
DOVE is?
DOVE is the branch of Seton Hall University that gets our students engaged in community outreach and community service.
Describe that.
On a variety of levels, our students are interested in deepening their involvement in the community so that they can connect their academics with their faith life and with the needs in our community.
Let's break this down a little bit. I told you I know Seton Hall pretty well. President Meehan and I were having a conversation about this a couple months ago, and she told me about the work you were doing. And I thought, what a good conversation to have, because along with countless other parents who watch this program, we try to advocate that our kids get involved, make a difference. But I'm curious, do you have to recruit volunteers or students at the university coming to you saying, I want to find a way to make a difference?
A little bit of both. A little bit of both, Steve. When I started, we started with a very few number of programs. We've grown to have over 20 programs go out every single week. Throughout the month, we have more than 50 or 60 programs that engage our students in various opportunities of service.
Let's break it down a little bit. I know that the St. John's Soup Kitchen, which I know very well, describe who goes there and why.
You know, that's the most surprising of our programs, because we have a waiting list for students to go serve breakfast, and they leave campus at 6:30 in the morning.
St. John's, downtown Newark.
Downtown Newark,
right.
The oldest church in Newark, and you'd never expect to have a waiting list for students to get up
What
that
time
early.
Are they?
We leave campus at 6:30.
And they come back by 10-ish.
They come back by 10, and it's unbelievable.
And what do they do for them?
You know, the basics are that we cook breakfast and lunch, but more than that is that they form relationships with the people outside and the people that they're volunteering with. So they're putting a face and a name with a statistic of homelessness, so that it's more than just something they do in a day, but something that they believe they're changing.
Joe, what do you think, with the academic rigor that there should be at your university and other institutions of higher learning, what do you expect, what usually happens to a student when he or she gets so involved in service to others?
I always warn my students what the Jesuits say, and that's, we can ruin you for life. And what that means is you can
By the
walk
way, I went
in.
to Christian Brother schools.
As did I.
Where'd you go?
I went to LaSalle.
Okay. I was up at Iona.
Okay.
They can have that impact. So explain to folks who may not understand what we're talking about, what you're talking about, because service is not really an option.
Okay, well, when we begin and when we invite people in to do what we're doing, we say, you know, what we're doing is we're changing you. We're not changing the world, we're changing your heart so that you can respond to the needs of others in your own way, and I can't tell you what that means. And so, for example, years ago on our very first trip to El Salvador, we had a student who was a business major, and he thought he was just going to follow a road that he had mapped out for himself. And he went to El Salvador and he saw such great need, and he stopped in his tracks and said, I can do more. And he changed his major to medicine, and he's now working with the poor in rural Pennsylvania, and he's been back with us to El Salvador to, you know, address the basic needs of the kids that we work with there. And so that's what I mean by being ruined. It means, you know, being open to what you're called to be. Yes, exactly.
Curious about this. As someone who's taught leadership at your university and a few others, I've often argued that great leadership requires empathy and compassion, genuine empathy and compassion, truly caring about people.
Exactly.
I often say it's not a technique, it's either you do or you don't. And here's the point to this long-winded question. Do you think true empathy and compassion is taught, or is it in us, or it is not?
I think it's in each one of us. I think that, you know, the word compassion means to suffer with someone, and the word empathy means to feel something, to feel the suffering of others. And if
but
you're
I can't
open,
feel, empathy doesn't mean I can feel your pain itself.
No, but that you can feel pain for you, you know, that you can identify with that, and that you can stand with someone in solidarity with what they're going through. And I think that it can be taught, but I think that people need to put down the social media, put down the cell phones, and relate to one another so that we can form a relationship. And that's what we do through our programs. It's not just about serving the other out in the world, but really serving each other and having conversations about what this means and how we can connect and create change together as the Seton Hall community.
You got me thinking, because you mentioned the cell phone thing. It's been argued by some that a disproportionate number of quote-unquote millennials have a hard time with human interaction, face-to-face human interaction, because of the technology that is so dominant and prevalent in our lives. In terms of what you see with the Dove initiative, can you really get those students to connect on a human level and to get the technology out of the way? And if so, how do you do that?
You know, one of our chaplains recently said about our trips, our international trips to Haiti and El Salvador and our local trips to Philadelphia and West Virginia, we do in 1 week what it takes 6 months to do otherwise, because we invite our students to put all technology away for that week. You know, they're going to be taking pictures, et cetera, but put down the social media and let's focus on each other and on what we're doing. And the relationships that happened, the profound change that happens in that week is incredible. And, you know, if we could kind of infiltrate society with that idea, let's put everything down and notice what's happening right in front of us, I think the world would be a little different.
Haiti. We happen to know well through some of the guests who have come here and talked about the work they're doing in Haiti. You raised some money on behalf of, it was a Haiti relief effort. It was an orphanage?
We work in an orphanage called the Mason Fortuné Orphanage.
What is it?
Mason Fortuné Orphanage in Inch, Haiti. I'd have to say it's one of the hardest places I've ever been and one of the most beautiful. I have 4 children, and I haven't. Very nice. And I haven't been back since I've had some of my children because it's just so heart-wrenching. I've been at the orphanage and had a mother come up to me and beg me to take and keep her child. And I'm sure you can't imagine, and I can't imagine what it's like to truly feel that it would be better for your child to be raised by somebody else because you simply can't feed them, and to never see your child again because you simply can't afford to. And the orphanage where we work has both true orphans, many of whom are orphaned by the earthquake, but also orphans who may have living parents that simply can't keep them. So it's heartbreaking. You know, it's a really desperate situation in Haiti. Of course, there's hope, and of course, that's why we continue to go year after year with our students to push for education, to push for change. And this orphanage is unique in that they raise future leaders. They are not, none of the children are up for adoption. The founder of the orphanage wants them to stay and create change in Haiti.
They're the leaders.
They're the future
and
leaders.
Before I let you out of here, though, so you are creating leaders at Seton Hall.
Thank you. I think all it takes is an invitation, and that's really just what we're doing, is inviting our students to be part of what we do.
Michelle Peterson is the director of DOVE, the Division of Volunteer Efforts at Seton Hall University. I want to thank you, your colleagues, but most of all the students who are out there doing it every day on behalf of others trying to make a difference. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Steve.
Catch you next time.
The preceding program has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of Caucus New Jersey has been provided by Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, Englewood Health, the Russell Berry Foundation, the Healthcare Foundation of New Jersey, Summit Medical Group, Valley Bank, and by Adler Aphasia Center. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area. Caucus New Jersey has been produced in partnership with TriStar Studios.